Hello!
Hello!
I'm Josh.
I'm Matthew.
And this is the MIGCAST presents Raised on Games Part 4. Oh. So.
Some of you guys on headphones enjoy that.
Yep.
Our
Anyways.
dog is like freaking out over that.
When we last left you.
It's like way brighter. It seems like.
I know. When we last left you.
Here, I want to just share with you guys before I interrupt this lovely. You know, all you out there that enjoy the the ASMR or whatever, the AMSR, the food eating videos. Have you heard about this? People like that's high, you have high quality microphones, and you like, and you chewing.
Sit back.
When you do
away
chewing,
from the microphone.
The microphone. Stick in the microwave. When you do chewing sounds or whatever, there's things now. Search on YouTube. I'm fucking this whole thing up. Ooh, a fuzzy. Anyways, tell them where we left off.
In the last episode of MIGCAST Presents Raised on Games, we started talking about the Super Nintendo and the 16-bit generation. We had talked about when we first got a Super Nintendo and Super Mario Land, and more important, our first time playing Zelda, A Link to the Past. Can't do anything serious with you, right? So,
anyways,
that's where we left.
We're gonna get serious.
In the last part, was we were talking about the Link to the Past and how amazing of a game that was.
Oh God, yeah.
Was there any final thoughts or any closing we needed to do on that, or did we pretty much hit that bitch as hard as we could?
We went in, but not until we had consent.
This is true,
because that is important these days.
It is.
And I'm wired, guys. I'm ready to do this. There's something else in this tea. Ooh. Delicious. It's a lovely red tea. I'm drinking a pumpkin spice here, and Josh here is drinking a lovely caramel apple. Now let's talk about retro games.
It's very delicious. So
now kiss.
So we had talked about Zelda, but we were really just starting off with the Super Nintendo. That was really the first. Those are the first two big games we played, and very important games at that. Yeah. I mean,
well, the first system that we had was, the first 16-bit system we had was the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
and then it branched out from there. So I mean, that was the defining moment for us.
See, the part where I always get lost in my memories is I have a whole bunch of little separate memories that aren't in any particular order because I can't fully remember them of games that we've played growing up. Now, the one thing I remember was we didn't own a whole lot of Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
We didn't own, I want to say, of all the games we probably ever owned for Super Nintendo, it was maybe 8.
Yeah, I would say that's probably about right. And it would rotate because there was, Funkoland and trading in stuff. And
most of the games we played, we rented.
Oh, God, yeah.
And we did a lot of video game renting.
It was that weekend rent thing we were talking about
Blackbuster?
Yeah, where, on Friday night, it'd be your weekend. Your parents would let you go, pick a game out. You didn't know if it'd be shit. It's like Russian roulette with a game. Or maybe not, because, perhaps, there are always some games that you might have heard or read about in Nintendo Power.
Yeah, Nintendo Power. Game Pro, I think, was around at that time.
You have the power. Nintendo Power.
Oh, very sexy.
Yeah, radio voice.
But, I'm looking at some of our release lineups here of some of the games I clearly remember playing. Now,
does not taste like pumpkin spice.
We're pretty sure that we got the Super Nintendo in 92.
Yes. Christmas time.
Now,
or for some of you guys that don't celebrate Christmas, December.
Now, at the same time, I remember Street Fighter II.
Yeah, that was huge. Did you remember the whole story behind Street Fighter II? Was that Dad rented? I remember
See, I felt like we owned the original Street Fighter.
We didn't at first. I believe we rented it. Was Dad having a poker game with some friends? We were playing it because I remember a bunch of older people ended up coming in and they were like having a blast with that.
Yeah.
And then from that, we bought it.
I do remember that, but then we also had, when we were being babysat in the summer, and we had a cousin, no names this time, and this little shit would always select Chun-Li. And that was the time in games where people couldn't play as the same character. So if somebody selected one character, nobody else could pick that character.
There's no clones in these games.
Yeah. And he always took Chun-Li. And it pissed me off.
It wasn't even that good with her. It was just to fuck with them.
No, it was because, it was a woman, and when she turned upside down, you could see, like, her
God.
underwear.
Pause the game. There's pussy holes.
Look at her pussy.
Yeah. Fuck her right in the pussy.
Thank you. I'm glad you did that, because I was thinking it.
And because we already said the bad words, I'm putting that shit in the...
Hey, might as well fuck her right in the pussy.
I'm going to put the little hoodie man in there.
He's my hero, my idol. My God.
Yeah.
So, for, like, an entire day, I just kept playing as Chun-Li, and my aunt kept yelling at me. She's like, "You're doing that shit on purpose." Well, she didn't say shit, but she's like, "You're doing that on purpose," and I was. And I denied it, but like that started like a whole downward spiral.
Well, and we said we went Donald Trump.
But I felt like we owned Street Fighter 2 at that point.
Oh God, yeah, because we were playing it all like crazy.
Yeah, we played it all the time. So we owned Street Fighter. And Street Fighter 2 came out June 10th of 1992.
You remember what we did from that?
No.
We pulled a Trump on her. Because of this whole Street Fighter debacle, we went up to our aunt and we're like, "You fired. You fired." And Chun-Li got our aunt fired in a metaphorical sense from babysitting duties.
It's true. That is true. We told my mom it was time for us to be on our own grown up.
Yeah.
92, I would have been...
Yeah, we want to play with Chun-Li without drama.
I would have been 11.
No, what's it called? Yeah, that's about right.
11 and 9.
Yeah. And ever since then, we've been selecting Chun-Li without any drama.
Not 90. No, that wouldn't. Would that have been 92? Yeah, it had to have been because we would have had to have been in the apartment.
Yeah, you were 11.
So 93 probably, actually. It had to actually be 93. So yeah, and then
God, Street Fighter was awesome. You remember how cool it was when you're going through the regular stages? You clear those initial wave of Street Fightering combatants,
and then you go to Japan, Brazil, USSR.
The little dee-dee, like they have the little picture screens with like the little bloody faces and shit. And the first time that you fly to Las Vegas and you fucking fight Balrog, and it's like you're getting all these awesome boss battles. You start getting into these boss battles that were really awesome because Balrog, had quite that rush. Obviously, a Mike Tyson ripoff.
The biggest problem with Street Fighter was even the computer would just sit at one end of the screen and just fucking throw
Yoga Fire!
Yeah, Yoga Fire! Yoga Flame!
Yoga Fire!
Yeah. Hadouken, or Tiger Uppercut! Yeah, as soon as you try to jump, Tiger Uppercut! Like, this fucking game just fucking cheated.
Bison with that flip kick shit.
Oh, or his Psycho Driver.
Yeah.
Then you had Vega, who's just fasting all over. Jumping up. That's what it sounded like. Yeah, it spiked. But it was good. It was good games. I don't think Vega's actually on this. Actually, none of the bosses are on this one. Oh yeah, I'm Bison.
Zangief. Dalsum. All right, people walking past the MIGCAST studio out there. It looks like you're feeling your breasts up.
I am feeling my breasts.
Hey, October. You know what? On a serious note,
Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Breast cancer.
Why do you got to do that, dude? Stop.
I'm feeling for lumps. I don't care. I got to feel for lumps. No lumps.
Your lovely lady lumps?
Yes. Check them out.
That before.
So.
I was just wanting to raise awareness. Hey, buddy, you want to come up here? You're going to doggy here. I'm going to go over here and pet my dog.
So.
Hey, bud.
I remember that.
Did we talk about Mortal Kombat in the last part? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did either.
Because we're getting deja vu because we recorded a rendition of this yesterday.
Mortal Kombat.
Thank you, Dad.
Growing up, I always kind of stood by... we had a friend who had a Sega Genesis, so we got a lot of our Sega Genesis Phil over at his house.
Phil? I don't remember Phil.
You don't remember Phil?
I'm sorry. I'm loopy as shit. Phil. The energy levels jumping from this episode from the previous are just all over the place.
So we weren't too big on Sega Genesis. We didn't have one at the time, and we had
Flash processing wasn't our thing.
No, we had Super Nintendo, and I remember the news article coming out about Mortal Kombat.
Oh God, yeah. Tipper Gore was getting moist at thinking about that.
Tipper Gore's a whore.
Lieberman was losing his shit.
And I remember
Weasley
my mom she's like, "You're never playing that game." And
our mom is really cool. It's just that game was just it was scary
at the
parents.
time. Our mom was your typical mom.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the problem was people that didn't really know. It's a violent game that just shouldn't be in your house. Was what the big thing was.
Yeah.
So
my dad, being Mr. Cop extraordinaire that he is, decides he's going to do his own. I'm going to do my own goddamn thing. And went and picked up Mortal Kombat, rented Mortal Kombat for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Which was cool because we were getting to play it, but at the same time sucked.
Yeah.
Because even back then, Nintendo was a bunch of little fucking goody two-shoe pussies. And every episode.
I know, but it took us took us more than 5 minutes to get to the bashing.
Yeah, it took us about 11 minutes, actually. It's good.
Very good.
Taking much longer. And they took the blood out of the game. They didn't want no blood in the game. So when Kano fucking plunges his fist into your chest and fist fucks your chest and pulls your heart out and holds it up, there's nothing in his hand. He's just like this. There's nothing in his hand. And it's just like sweat. Like, it was like sweat. Like, you punch somebody up and it was like gray sweat beads flew off him.
Maybe Mortal Kombat on the Super NES was actually a port, or a pre-version of the movie The Faculty. And what you're actually doing when you're fighting these peoples are the aliens that drank all this water. So you were taking the hydration out of them with their fatality.
So that's where Sega Genesis had Nintendo beat, in my opinion,
because
they had the full blood and gore goodness.
But you had to enter a password. You guys know what the password was? It was ABACABB.
Abacab?
Abacab.
What was that for? To enable the blood?
To enable the blood. It wasn't on by default. Now, I
thought
I remember that because I was reading an article before. I'm going to double check this shit to reference.
I'm going to be fairly impressed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that.
So
yeah, they had the awesome Mortal Kombat.
So there was that. Well, I mean, since we're talking about
the funny thing is, the fatalities in gore were like stupid looking. It's like, here's the head with a little cheap rendered stick.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially
it was nothing to be.
But you got to keep in mind, at the time there was no game doing that.
I know, but it's just such bullshit. Night Trap came a little bit afterwards. Oh, how unprofessional!
Oh, I'm sorry.
Stop! It's attention.
Yeah, who's unprofessional now? Fuck. So see, as we sit here and talk about our 16-bit gaming memories, I don't think I'm going to do it so much by year as we're going to do it by genre.
Yeah. What's that password say?
ABACABB, Abacab. Impressive, brother.
Yes. How about you, Snake?
How about you? So, I mean, since we seem to be talking about fighting games right now, we'll keep talking about fighting games. I remember.
Do you remember the time that Michael Jackson's estate sued us for copyright strikes? Don't touch those little boys anymore.
Nice.
Now you're going to sue us.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, we need a little jingle. It's a little late here at the MIGCAST.
It is a little late here at the MIGCAST.
Yeah.
So, I remember getting Super Street Fighter 2.
Yes.
And that, I don't know when that came out. Oh, yeah, I do. That came out on June 25th of 1994. I remember getting that. Was that? Oh, that might have been a birthday. It was like a late birthday.
Yeah, that game was how much money?
Oh, that was like $80, I think.
Yeah, it was about 75 to 80.
Like, you people fucking want to cry about the cost of video games now. At least regular price, like, at least video games are only 60, but Super Nintendo days, there were $70, $80 games.
Well, yeah, and we tackled some of the inflation in the previous episode. Some of these systems that we used to be cheap, they're expensive nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
I went Christoph Waltz there for a second. I apologize.
Wait for the cream. Oh.
I have too much cream.
Too much cream.
But,
so I remember getting that, and I remember playing the shit out of that, loving that game because they had the four new fighters and you had Cammy. See, I always
it's not so much the sexiness and cuteness of Cammy, it's her stage. The Northern Lights. That is the first time I heard the Northern Lights, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, that stage is
really
cool. The music in that place is really cool. My favorite of the new characters was Fei Long.
Bruce Lee?
Yeah, I always liked Fei Long.
Bruce Lee.
The fist attack's really cool.
Be like water.
Who else did they add? They added
put water in a cup, it becomes the cup.
They added Thok.
TJ Hawk?
T-Hawk?
T-Hawk. Yeah, remember T-Hawk in the Street Fighter movie?
Yeah. That was terrible.
Remember the last guy?
Remember DeeJay? DeeJay in the Street Fighter movie?
Yeah, dude. At least him and Sagat got away with their chest of useless money.
Bison Dollars. Pax Bisonica. Bison Dollars.
What the fuck is Sagat go off on fucking DeeJay about when he opens what's it called about it's useless?
Oh, I know.
Remember. I remember they're like wading through the sewer.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure he just starts laughing.
Yeah.
So there was that. I remember a lot of good fond memories. Where the fuck are you going?
I gotta check the MIGCAST security camera, man.
No,
I heard
that.
Sagat and DeeJay are upset because we just devalued the Bison Dollar. I gotcha.
Fucking dick.
Yeah, how's that Bison Dollar taste?
Like caramel apple.
I drink your tea.
Anyways.
I'm drinking Stop bullying me, Daniel.
So I remember
drainage.
What else? Killer Instinct. Remember Killer Instinct for the Super Nintendo?
Yeah,
for the Super NES system.
I remember the arcade.
The arcade was fucking awesome.
We played that first.
You know what was cool about the arcade? That
Killer Instinct.
Well, it was cool is when you selected a character. They in the arcade they had the little motion.
The CG graphics.
The CG graphics, but the Super Nintendo version didn't have that, and that really made me upset when I bought that. But
it was still good though.
Or rented it.
You had the little fun, quick animation clip.
No, they didn't.
Orchid or
Orchid. In the arcade?
No, in the Super Nintendo, I thought when you select your character, it just did a little animation of them spinning their attack.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I remember best memory about. I was worried because he was crazy on the episode 4 episode, and I seem to be crazy myself now. But I remember a fun memory of the video store, and I was gonna bring this up earlier that I think the reason why we rented more games during that era than bought them was because we lived next door to a video store, and that we were good friends with them, and we'd always get these discounts or these games for basically free. Yeah, just take it, put on the tab or whatnot. So I think that led to that, and I think what also was great from this relationship that we ended up having with this video store was that when Killer Instinct came out, the owner, this lovely Korean man, my old band wrote a song about him.
Keep going.
Yeah, that's right. He would give away just the bonus shit that would get packed in. So it's like, oh, hey, Earthbound has this strategy guide. Hey, just take the strategy guide. I don't need it. I don't want to rent it out.
What did Killer Instinct come with?
Oh my god, dude, the fucking jam of this. It was the jam of the year, man. Killer Cuts. With fucking Spinal on the cover.
I forgot about that. Fucking
put it right down.
Killer Cuts.
There. Killer Cuts.
Fucking Killer Cuts, man. Right?
Sweet music.
Fucking here.
Sweet chin music.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. I'm trying to remember what other good fighting games we played on the Super Nintendo.
A lot of them really broke out come 32-bit, which I think
you had stuff like Clay Fighter that we never really played. I think we rented it once, but never really played it. I remember renting one game called Weapon Lord. That was really hard, but the cool thing about that game was that game's fatalities were really violent. That game had some super violent fatalities.
We're missing one that is a fighting game, but it's not. And that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time.
Oh.
That's a fighting game.
That game was so good.
That took everything that TMNT 2, the arcade game, did, and it built on it. Better graphics,
that
more
was
gameplay.
A really good game.
The co-op in that was skis, fun. Right? Wasn't that one?
Fuck yeah.
In the water, and you're jumping and kicking the shit out of Foot Clan.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other fighting games. Yeah, you had a lot of stuff that came out during that time, fighting game wise. You had Primal Rage, but never really played that. Yeah. Just my biggest, fondest memories of fighting games was the Super Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 2.
Yeah,
that. I remember those the most. Definitely remember those. I remember putting some decent time in with Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh god, yeah, that one.
That was my favorite one.
Yeah, that took everything.
Loved that game.
Yeah, because that had friendships in it, but not babalities. Because I think one of those came in 2 or 3. It had one or the other. Because I know they added to it. That might have had friendship.
I know for a fact 3 had babalities.
Again? Vitality. Do. That was when they had Reptile playable in MK2. That's a lot of the stages where you could uppercut the guys and they would fucking fall into like the fucking lava or the toxic waste and shit.
Yep.
Like
the pit. You uppercut them off the pit.
Get stuck on the spike. Like you could knock the guys up through the level onto the spikes and you could hold down and a button and they could fucking, their bodies would like slide through them and shit.
Oh, fuck. That's right.
Like that game was incredible. Man.
That was a really good fucking game.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that on Super Nintendo was not censored.
No.
They fixed that.
That had its normal original blood and guts.
Yeah. So while Jack Thompson was in, I know he's much older than that. While he was probably in college, his onto some before he went after GTA, Mortal Kombat 2 was out there doing its thing without being censored and having the tax on it.
True.
Is it? The Jack Thompson part or the Mortal Kombat 2 part?
All of it.
Is that literally slander?
It's all true. Sorry. The
my.
tea's got me all bubbly. Let me loosen this up a little bit. Oh, God.
We were talking about something earlier when we were having food. When we were eating.
We were talking about a lot of things when we were going to get food.
Well, I wanted to bring up because this predates our move to the house at the time when we were in the apartment. And we rented this really amazingly hard game at the time, Mega Man X.
Oh,
why don't you start telling about that? Fuck. I gotta go get a dog that is attacking.
Mega Man X.
Really, Reggie? Do you hear a dog? Our dog is currently chasing Reggie Fils-Aime, who's on our premises, and I told him not to.
Go get him, Matt.
You hear that? I hear faintly, play the games, dog. You know what?
He's just trying to hook up a vitality sensor to him. Oh, what do you?
I'm gonna throw amiibos at him. He's fucking weak to them.
Okay. Hi. Mega Man X. Oh man. I don't feel like we really touched on Mega Man very much during the 8-bit generation, which is really a shame and something that was completely overlooked because were those amiibos? Jesus. Which I feel is really a shame because Mega Man was one of my favorite gaming series during the 8-bit generation. We owned 2, but then rented 1, 3, 4, 5. Nice. And I love the Mega Man games. Growing up, that was a big part of my experience on Nintendo was Mega Man. So when Mega Man X came out, I was really excited. I was like, oh shit. You know, it's Mega Man for the new generation. It's Mega Man for the new system. So I remember going out and renting that and being super disappointed at first because the game was way, way harder than any of the Mega Man games I'd ever played, or at least harder than I remember. And then on top of it all, like you had a smaller health bar. You had to get hearts to upgrade your health. You had to get like pieces of your suit and upgrade your suit. So like that was a huge pain in the ass. But then even after that
Nintendo of America is now hiring a president. I got Reggie.
Nice. So
I'm gonna have him stuffed, and he's gonna be up here next week.
Just a big Reggie head.
I'm going to eat you.
So nice.
All right, I'm so sorry. I derailed. This whole podcast is getting fucked.
So I really hated Mega Man 8 when it first came out. It was really hard, or Mega Man X. It was really harder than what I was used to. And I remember the boss, like the end boss stuff, like the Sigma, the fights. Yeah, get X1, X2, and X3.
Awesome looking. Zero was fucking awesome looking. Like
the fights were so hard, and I don't necessarily think I didn't appreciate X when it came out, but I grew to love it. And then when X2 came out and X3 came out, I was way more excited and ramped up for those, and played the hell out of those. Yeah. Love those games.
I have distinct memories of once we had moved to our house and met our friend Cole or whatever. I remember Josh and him spending hours just trying to clear the final stage.
Sigma and X2, I'm pretty sure.
And they literally spent 3 or 4 hours going through, because it was one of those games, if I remember correctly, where you had a little mini stage leading up to the boss. And so it was one of those, don't get hit or lose a pinch of your health, because you got to get through like 2 or 3 phases of Sigma.
Yeah, it was so hard.
They finally did it, and it's like any game.
Yeah.
Passing the control around. Like, shit, God, those are memories.
Well, shit. I mean, since we're on the topic of side-scrollers, man, like... I'm not sure when we first played it. It might have been through Cole, but Contra 3. Contra. It's over there somewhere.
It's holding up the control.
It's okay.
This game right here.
Yeah, Contra 3, man. That
Alien Wars.
That game was really hard too.
Yeah.
That game was really hard too, but I thought that game was really cool because it was just more of what made Contra great.
Oh yeah.
But
levels
ramped,
freaking hang and climb up.
Yeah, it was ramped up because the graphics was better, sounds were better.
Oh yeah.
And then they did that top-down stuff, which I kind of liked. You know, every other level was like one of the top-down views, and that was really cool because it was different at the time. So I remember playing the shit out of Contra 3, and then along with Contra 3, another game I'm not sure if we owned it. I think we did. Super Castlevania 4.
Oh,
you know, why don't
God.
you feel? I know you absolutely love. I love that game too. I feel like Matt here might like it even more than me. I know that's a really
touch any of my stuff, I kill you.
Yeah, lighten up, Francis. I know that's a really important game to you, and that's a game that you really love.
Yeah, Super Castlevania 4 was impressive because it starts like every other Castlevania where, not to mention a title screen where they got all those little fucking trilobites or whatever those things were, climbing on the fucking... And it like scrolls up the wall.
That's right.
It's got the Super Castlevania at the top, and then it has the... It's got like it's in the graveyard, and all of a sudden you... grave thing breaks, and then the glowing light, and it's Draggy getting resurrected. There's like fog, and then it starts that fucking awesome music. It's like... And it's like this real...
Oh, shit.
I'll have to put it into this video because it was just such a haunting, like, the anxiety, like, you were feeling leading up to this. It's like, holy fuck, this is Castlevania on a whole new level.
Well, just like, the music, and, you know, the music was so important. Music's a big part of this 16-bit generation.
Oh, God, yeah, because that chip was amazing on that
Well, I mean,
system.
you think about, like, the beginning of Castlevania, how great, like, it starts off when you're in the courtyard, and it's just...
You're just walking.
It's just, I mean, there's music, but it's just real, like...
It's classic Castlevania.
It's very, very quiet music, very subdued. And you're going through, and you jump, and the castle clicks, and then the gates come up, and then yeah, like, fires up that classic Castlevania music, man. Like that shit was awesome. And, like, for the first time, you could whip in an angle, and...
hang, you could whip into the little socket things, and you could, like, swing.
And it always sounds so cool when you swung this way.
Yeah. And then the ones where you click, you hold, and the fucking room...
Yeah, like the level itself would rotate.
Like, changes.
Or remember the ballroom thing where the chandeliers are going back and forth, and you got to jump from chandelier to chandelier?
I wasn't sure, because we're going to eventually cover Bloodlines on Genesis. Was that the game where one of the bosses was like a bunch of gears, and as you hit him, he shrunk in size? I think that might have been Bloodlines.
I think that was Bloodlines. Bloodlines was really good.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That was a good attempt.
Yeah, we'll get to Genesis after we get through Super Nintendo. Super N8 system.
Yeah, Super Castlevania 4 was just so great because, from what I understand, it's essentially just a reboot of Castlevania.
Is it?
Or it's a Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse was the prequel. Mm-hmm. So I think Super Castlevania 4 is just Castlevania 1, I think. I got to get this right, and I'll look this up, because actually that one doesn't make sense, because why would the gravestone get broken and the back comes out?
That's true. And what the fuck is Simon's Quest then?
That's just a...
Who fucking knows? A tornado...
Crazy game.
Some guy ducked in the corner of a level and a tornado came through, and I don't know, but he had to have the things equipped.
Hey, dude, when you got a taste for ribs, man, you got to fucking go to mansions and shit. Rebuild the Dracula.
But I mean, there were a lot of Super Nintendo, that was really like the epitome of side scrolling was.
Oh, it was
huge
it was
in
huge.
That, like huge. And I know there's a ton of side scrolling shit we're missing.
I know. I had on here like some of the Disney games I thought were really cool and fun at the time.
Oh, fuck yeah! Lion King was amazing.
Because another cool thing with Lion King was that the sound chip that we were just talking about made a lot of that music in there carry over pretty good.
That Aladdin was really good.
It was better on Genesis.
Yeah, Aladdin was better on Genesis. Lion King was better on the Super NES system.
The Tiny Toons games, I know that's not necessarily Disney, but like those had some
We
cartoons.
did play a lot of those Tiny Toon games.
Another game that was better on Genesis that was also on Super Nintendo but was unique in side-scrolling was Earthworm Jim. I was trying to get a burp going here for you so I could do the intro.
That game was so weird.
Who owns the rights to that? What company bought that?
Who originally made it? Was it Interplay?
I don't know. Yeah, I'll look it up and
It
I'll
was
put the
Interplay.
facts in here because that's the type of perfect game to kickstart or do some weird messed up twisted version.
Well, especially because you think about it, like the thing that was
console.
so interesting about Earthworm Jim was you look at a lot of the child, and I won't say child, but like kid programming nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Look at your really weird Nick off the wall shows or like your Adult Swim shows where it's like, what the fuck is going on this show? And it's just crazy random fucking shit. You look like Steven in the Universe or Steven Saves the Universe, like weird shit like that. And that game was doing that way back then.
Something I want to kind of throw out there is because of our age and that we were playing this game when we were kids and we're in our 30s now, is I think you're having a lot of these people in these creative positions at these companies. A lot of these people making these shows are people that grew up with games, maybe like Earthworm Jim.
It would make sense because the Earthworm Jim reminded me of like a video game version of Ren and Stimpy because that was the closest analog we had at the time.
Oh God, yeah,
was Ren and Stimpy was just
crude, funny game.
Like you think about some of the stuff in Earthworm Jim, like there was a gross game.
Yeah,
like there was a lot of
me feel icky.
Yeah, like you play that game, it makes you feel gross.
It was a hard game, and looking back at it,
yeah,
I didn't really care for it all that much, but it was cool because of how unique it was.
It was such a unique game,
yeah.
And it looked so good at the time. Like so many of those games looked so good. Like.
There were a couple Simpsons games that also came out. Beavis and Butthead had. I mean, these are games
I don't remember a lot of those.
Nowadays, yeah, you would write off as just being shit games. But like back then, it's like, oh, Beavis and Butthead have a game. Fuck, that's the show that we secretly sneak into rooms to watch because it's bad.
Yeah. I don't remember a whole lot of those games.
The irony, man. Like, I don't want to go on a tangent because I was talking about Beavis and Butthead, but like, think about the music that we listen to nowadays was all on Beavis and Butthead, and we never knew back then all the shit that we would love in the future was featured
exactly.
there. Yeah, sorry. Tangent over.
But then, like when you're talking about side-scrolling games, I think like the two really big standout side-scrolling titles for the Super NES system.
You're getting to one here. Oh, right.
The first one, which is probably one of my most single favorite games for the Super Nintendo system, is Super Metroid. Yeah, Super Metroid. No, it's breakfast.
How does this thing?
No,
I want that fucking button that.
It's Zelda, man.
Woo! Legend of Super Metroid.
Super Metroid. Like, this game was the shit.
I wanted the button that you could.
I play this game multiple times a year. Just go back and play it.
I have one flaw with this game.
There's no such thing as a flaw in that game.
There's a flaw within the first.
Never. Watch your mouth, heathen. Speak.
There's one flaw within
Tread
the first,
carefully, mortal.
No, you're going to agree with this when you hear it. Within the first 15 seconds of that game booting up, there's a flaw. You have the ding, 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 ding. The title's flashing, that fucking science lab. Like, what the fuck is this?
We're in a whole new world. Perfect.
It says Metroid 3. It was so perfect. Just call it Metroid 3.
It does say.
Super's awesome. The game is a legend. It's a perfect game outside of just one little nitpick. The Metroid 3.
That's easy to look over.
When the Metroid 3 comes up, it looks so beautiful. It looks so sexy. Let me pull that up. Yeah, I'll put that down there.
Yeah, that game.
It looks cool seeing Metroid 3.
Everything about that game, in my opinion, was perfect.
No, there's one other beef I have.
Never.
No, there is.
No.
You ready for it?
I'm going to be hiring a new co-host after this.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
That voice, that guy. It's like Niles Crane.
But you got to keep something in mind.
It's Niles Crane.
There was a 16-bit video game. Cartridges didn't do voices at that time.
That was a person, I think, doing that. I want Troy Baker in there doing Joel, his Texan. The last Metroid's in captivity.
Dude, you got to keep in mind, Super Metroid came out
94. We did.
Yeah, 94. Because I got it for my 13th birthday. Birthday after I played the shit out of it, already beaten it, and I still wanted it. That game's perfect. Everything about that game's perfect. Like
when we first started playing that game, that intro popped. I'm like, "What the fuck is this weird, creepy nerd
I
guy
remember it being.
on?
I thought it was really cool because it was a cartridge. That was the first time I can recall hearing a clear voice in a video game.
Yeah,
and
I'm trying to find
cool.
The title menu that just says Metroid.
But
it was just awesome. It was just so cool. The music.
Like what's so great about that game is the graphics are phenomenal. The gameplay is fantastic. Yeah, the music, like, well, not so much anymore now. Like, you've just bastardized it.
Mother brain persists. You don't have a Metroid to save your ass.
Yeah.
Down and you're all
It
charging until. Yeah. Sorry, this game was just.
The game is still one of my most favorite games of all times. Like, there's no topping that game. I think that was one of, if not the single best game on the Super Nintendo. Like,
I have one.
I mean, think about it. No, you shut your mouth for a minute.
When you're done with your Super Metroid jerking off,
yeah, go fuck yourself.
I have an amazing fact for
Listen,
y'all.
How cool is it having played Metroid, the first one? Metroid. When you first start that game,
French, it's called Metroid,
and you go through and you go down the path, that long shaft that's destroyed, and it's like, wow, this kind of looks like, the shaft I escaped from in Metroid. And then you go into that door, and it's fucking where Mother Brain was, and it's the level from Metroid.
In 1983, I escaped from a shaft.
Stop. You're ruining my special memories.
I know, that's my plan.
Stop it.
I never played Super Metroid, but I watched this guy play through it, and it was enjoyable.
Fucking awesome.
It was like watching a movie.
I don't have a single bitch about that entire game.
Seeing where you fought Mother Brain.
Yeah,
awesome.
Like everything about that game was fucking great. The everything
coming through reverse, the way you went in, and then going through. And the first time you go through, nothing's there. You pick up that one thing.
You go down, you pick up your fucking morph ball, and then all of a sudden the levels coming alive, and the little fucking statues that are facing this way when you walk past them go up the shaft. All of a sudden they turn and they're looking at you.
Yeah,
and then you get up there, and then you got the fucking space pirates up there. Like
Secrets Everywhere. The ghost ship was just fucking awesome.
Yeah, Fantoon, like. That game was phenomenal.
So many hidden secrets.
Fucking best game for Super Nintendo. I don't care what anybody fucking says.
Well, looking at my list here,
awesome.
Josh, you got a lot of games on this list here.
I do. No, I do. I get that. Like, I do have a lot of games on that list, but I can honestly say Super Metroid is one of my all-time favorite games. And we're gonna get to that because
the rippage.
The what?
The rippages. The rippages.
Anyways, we're talking about side-scrolling right now.
I know, but we're going to be hitting arpeggios.
I know. Soon. We're going to save that for part 3, I think.
I'm the Josh of this episode.
Because there's still one more really big side-scroller that we have not talked about.
What am I missing?
For Super Metro, or for the Super Nintendo system.
The
Super NES 8 system.
8 system?
Super NES 8.
Super NES. Why?
Hey,
what's with the name changes? Famicom stands for Family Computer. Am I correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Why do you need to change the name of that?
Family Computer.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Good story, Josh.
What?
Don't touch me.
What is the side?
I'm gonna break the mic. What? Side scroll. Let me the joggle
What
my
is
brain.
the one big awesome side scroller that I'm forgetting right now?
I'm joggling my brain. You gotta give me hints here.
And he's got a little monkey kid. He wears a tie.
Oh, it's not red. Yours isn't red.
No, mine's black.
You got emo Donkey Kong. Emo Kong.
Donkey Kong motherfucking Country.
Where's Emo Kong, dude? Think about that.
Fuck that, dude. Donkey Kong Country. Come on, man.
God, that music.
Another music before.
I'm swimming right now.
16-bit was all about the music.
When he says Donkey Kong Country, all I'm envisioning right now is a sweet slumber where I'm feeling myself swimming through water. Or aquatic ambiance is playing.
I mean, the jungle level music, it was good, but Dude, the minecart levels, like when you get to like the oil factory and shit like Fear Factory, like I think that's actually what it's called.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm thinking Fear Factory the band came before that.
Oh yes, yeah.
So,
but I mean the snow levels, like
there's that one level where it starts out and it's normal weather, right? This is the one that you're talking about. As you start going, it's getting colder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the snow is falling, and right as you begin to swing, blizzard, it covers everything. And then you have to jump on the vulture birds. And
that game was fucking great.
There it is.
As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to side-scrolling games, it's the only game that could possibly rival Super Metroid for me.
Yeah.
It is the only game. Because
Super Metroid is still better.
And the Donkey Kong Country, you can go back and play it, and it still looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, and some
still
people...
fucking amazing. When did that fucking... bad some bitch come out?
Yeah, we'll get to a fun story about DKC here.
Oh yeah, we will.
I'll tell you another story. That was another game that came with
came out November 25th, 1994.
94 was a hell of a year.
Oh, 94 was a hell of a year, dude.
Look up Final Fantasy 6
hold on,
real quick,
yep. You had Final Fantasy 6 that came out 10/11/94.
Jesus
so a month
Christ.
Before.
All right, if you were alive and playing Super Nintendo in 1994, you lived the best year.
Super Metroid came out in 94. Super Street Fighter 2 came out in 94.
We were talking about what else in 94 earlier.
94 is really good. 95 wasn't too bad either.
Yeah.
I think Breath of Fire 2 came out in 94 too.
Yes, but real quick, some people think, and I mean, I didn't play enough of these to know, but DKC 2 and 3 are better games than 1 just because it helped build and expand. Yeah, did you play all those?
Yeah.
You hate on Dixie?
Yeah, she's a filthy monkey
you don't like
bitch.
Dicks?
No, I don't like dicks. She's a filthy monkey bitch. It's a filthy monkey bitch. I want to smack her. Smack the stupid blonde hair off her head. No. Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3 were good games. I like them. I do like them.
They were bad.
Donkey Kong Country was the best.
Yeah, because that was your first...
and that game was amazing, and it holds up.
Your memories of the first time playing
that. Let's think about this. You see...
We got a story.
Donkey Kong Country. Yeah. Awesome game. We rented it from the video store right next door from where we're filming right now.
Right where we're sitting.
Yes. If you got rid of...
Bless your heart, Hunch.
If you got rid of... He's not dead yet. If you got rid of...
I don't know. I haven't seen him in ages.
Sure. If you got rid of all the walls in this house right now, we'd be staring right at that video store.
Yeah.
Little place. We went...
Talking about swatted. I'm muting that whole section there.
No.
You just literally gave away our exact position.
I did not. Oh, yeah. I guess
I
you
did. All right. All of what was just said.
Can you edit out that audio?
Listen to this. Yeah. What's going to be great is for you guys just tuning back in, the locations were disclosed of the MIGCAST bunker. Okay.
Oh, please. All somebody has to, they know what city we film in, right?
Yeah.
All somebody has to do is go driving by at night and look for the bright recording lights coming through.
Yeah, we're on the major street in the city.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's like a fucking
but you're giving away exactly our address and where we live.
Okay, well, you're going to have to go through and...
Anyways, we live by a video store.
Yes, and we rented the Donkey Kong Country.
Rented it. The DKC into his house.
A couple times, I think.
A few.
We just kept back-to-back renting that thing.
2.
Kept renting
3.
it. We had this dog at the time named Zoe.
Rest in peace.
She was a piece of shit. That dog was a piece of shit.
She took everything.
That dog was a...
Pillows, you'd be looking out the corner of your eye and you'd see a gigantic pillow
go walking by.
Just going past, and then there'd be a little beagle hiding behind it, carrying it.
We would have to... She would go underneath the couch.
Tread lightly on this.
I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, it is.
No, is it? We had no choice. Listen,
we took her to a Chinese restaurant.
No, she would get underneath the couch, right? And she would take some shit she shouldn't have, and she would just go ballistic. Like if you tried reaching her arm in there, she'd try to bite you. So we'd have to take fireplace tongs, beat her over the head with them. No, I'm kidding. We'd have to take fireplace tongs and we'd have to very carefully grab her collar with fireplace tongs.
Pull her out.
And while we're holding her with the collar by the fireplace tongs, trying to pull her out, she's like biting at the fire tongs. So we're trying to pull her out from underneath.
She was an abused dog that we got from
we
shelter.
rescued her. Yeah,
and she did have
she had problems.
Some bad past that we probably gave her flashbacks.
Yeah,
but we handled her with extreme love and care.
Yeah, we did.
What we could.
You couldn't reach back behind the chair to grab her. You had to use fireplace tongs.
PETA shuts us down.
Right. So, anyways,
there's a story here, guys.
So we rented Donkey Kong Country.
Oh yeah.
And she took it. And she gnawed the shit out of it.
We have our backup one here.
Yeah, that's our good copy.
Right,
she gnawed the shit out of that thing. Chewed it the fuck up. Mind you, it's a game we rented.
It was mainly the label. The game did work still.
Yeah, the game still worked. But the label was all fucked up. The plastic had fucking puncture holes all around it. Like the cartridge is fucked. But it worked. So like my dad like sees this and like he's pissed. Because it's a rented game. It's like, okay, well, we need to replace this.
Yeah, he went to Target Greatland.
Oh, shit. Look at you.
Target Greatland.
Wow. There's some memories right there.
60 or 65 bucks.
It was probably 65 bucks. Had to buy a new one, right?
You bought it before we went to the video store.
Before we went back, because we're at full panic mode right now. We're like, oh, fuck, we got to replace it.
We're going to end this part up on the end.
Yeah, we are. So he bought a brand new Donkey Kong Country.
Go next door.
We go next door. We have the chewed up fucking game. We have the normal game. We have the chewed up game. Explain to him what happened. I was going to do an impression, but it'd be kind of racist. Hunji's like, oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's just a few bite marks.
Game works. Took it. Didn't want the new one that we just bought. So we're like, all right. So we come back home.
We were being foxed.
And
his dad wanted to.
Yeah, my dad wanted to return it. It wasn't opened. I don't think it was opened yet.
We're like,
we're like, come on, like, just keep it. You know, you already bought it. What's it matter? You know, just keep it. And my dad, as much as I love him, caved. Just fucking caved, and he let us keep Donkey Kong Country. So that's how we managed to get.
Thank you, Zoe.
Thank you, Zoe, for mauling the shit.
This is the
one that we bought that we had replaced it with.
Yeah,
we never got rid of it because of that memory and that story.
A little rattly.
Yeah, a little rattly, but I like.
Oh, you guys see what's hiding back here?
Those are like.
Speaking of 1994,
those are the real like big epitome games. There's gonna be a third part for the 16-bit era because we haven't even scratched on what I consider the most important part of the 16-bit era for me.
At least.
Oh, absolutely, and that's gonna be the part where we talk about 16-bit role-playing games because 16-bit role-playing games.
The Sega story, dude.
I know, like this is bad. I know.
I think
this
might
be a four-parter.
You need to let me focus on, even though it's not 16-bit. It was a huge. We never talked about Game Boy.
Yeah, that is true.
We never talked about this, which was that same time period. If you look up, I believe it was 94.
Virtual Boy came out in 94, did it?
Look it up. 94, 95. Pretty sure it was 95. I was in 6th grade.
I was getting towards the end of Super Nintendo.
I was at 6th grade. No, Super Nintendo was still heating up, but Virtual Boy. I went all in on this shit.
No, it wasn't still heating up because PlayStation came out.
Check 94, 95.
95, I think.
Yeah, but Super Nintendo was going and still Nintendo 64, I believe, came out in 96.
I typed in Virtual Boy.
The year that the best album ever created came out, Metallica's Load.
Yeah, that came out August 14, 1995.
95 in the U.S.
95 in the U.S.
Yeah, and I got that for my
they
birthday.
They discontinued that thing not even a year later.
I bought... Wow, so Mom... All right. I'm not telling you shit. Story coming next episode.
Just wait for this for the next episode.
Donkey Kong Country, we got a free copy. Thank you, Zoe. Love you all. Super Metroid rocks the socks off. I was crazy. I'm going to go take some medication.
There's still...
I'm going to be good to go.
I mean,
with
Super
4 parts.
Nintendo, there was...
Oh, it's coming.
Come on, the Top Gear games.
I know. Well, what's our length? Why don't we come back and do that in the next part?
48 minutes. That's not bad. Rock and Roll Racing, motherfucker. Rock and Roll Racing, bitch! Yeah, like there's so many great games. Stop. What's wrong with you? You lost your balls.
Because it was a weak version of... Yeah, dude, I'm just staring at you.
Get out of here.
Yeah, baby blues.
Come on, dude. What about what about Terminator vs. RoboCop?
I know that was a side scroller, by the way.
I know that was a
Predator.
Fucking.
That's why we're gonna go.
Alien 3, motherfucker.
Oh god, that game like people said it sucked. We loved believed it. And you know what?
Well, we might have to do fucking RPGs in a part 4.
We're cutting this, and we're doing RPGs in part 4 because we got to talk about Sega Genesis stories. We got to talk about Virtual Boy. We got to talk about a little pinch about Game Boy. I mean, I know that's going back into the past.
Yeah, that is going. I don't think we have to talk about Game Boy.
We need to. That was an important part of handheld gaming. That was the pioneer. I had a Game Gear too, motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, we're signing off real quick for this, and you'll notice the next part, wardrobe will be the same.
Or will it?
We're gonna ties might be removed. Come at us,
hear
bro.
That? You hear that? That's the sound of a professional tie.
ASMR, you motherfuckers that get off on sounds. What's it called? Oh, I'm eating a burrito. Those of you joining us on the audio podcast, I'm in your ear holes. Do I make you moist?